Welcome back to the Patrick Riggin Show here on the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network and News Talk 98.7 WOKI. During this short segment, I wanted to quickly mention the latest from the Obamacare defunding fight. With the House passing their bill on almost a party line vote, it's now going to the Senate, the defunding, and we weren't real certain anything would happen. Senator Ted Cruz had been pushing the House Republicans to pass the measure, and when it looked like things were moving forward, he actually started to backtrack and stated, well, he's not so sure it's going to work out in the Senate. Of course, this just infuriated the House Republicans, who felt like he was sawing off the limb on which they were standing. Now, Senator Cruz has said he's going to work to keep the House bill alive in the Senate by doing a procedural thing, by blocking cloture to end debate on the bill. Now, he's even suggested he'll filibuster if that's what it takes. What you can take away from all this is your phone calls and emails are working. I've stated on this show before, I don't care how loyal a representative is. If they think they'll lose the next election over something, they'll vote whatever way needed to keep their job in government. There's simply too much money and power for them to give it up so easily. Now, this is a bad thing, but until we get that problem solved, we can use it against these people who insist on voting against the Constitution. Heck, even Senator Cruz heard the bell tolling for thee when he backtracked on his statements about the House bill dying in the Senate. Not that Mr. Cruz is someone who flip-flops a lot. The only real problem we've had with him on this show is his foreign policy. I think he's a little too eager to kick Iran around. It sounds good in theory and may even win some easy votes, but it's not grounded in our Constitution, nor is it a real good idea anyway. But getting back to the defending Obamacare, if you haven't already, you need to check to see how your congressional representative voted on the House defunding bill and thank them if they voted for it. These people hear a lot of complaining, but it's pretty rare someone who follows up and thanks them for making a stand. So be sure and let them know you appreciate it. Starting Monday, though, you need to start calling your senators and tell them to pass this thing through the Senate. Even if you have a Democrat or two representing your state, tell them they won't win the next election if they don't vote for this bill. Sure, they don't want to break party lines with their vote, but if it looks like it might cost them the next election, they'll think long and hard about betraying their party versus betraying the people voting for them. You see, they can betray their party and still receive a paycheck. They might lose a committee chairmanship or assignment, but they'll still have a job. If you make it clear betraying the people voting for them will cost them that government salary, then I'm not saying it'll be 100%, but we'll be moving the odds back into our favor. Now, if you happen to think Obamacare is actually a good thing, you want to think about this for a minute. If a politician is telling you that we need to have this unconstitutional legislation because it's the right thing to do, it's a common sense thing to do, it's common sense legislation, what they're saying is we, the citizens, don't have common sense because we weren't doing what the government demands we do. Helping the poor is common sense. It's the right thing to do. Excuse me, but people have been doing that in this country since way before the government started sticking its nose into it. You have to get away from this attitude of the government cares about me. No, it really doesn't. You care about you. Your family cares about you. Your neighbors and friends care about you. But government only cares about you as long as you allow it to do what it wants. The minute you start restricting its power, trying to get back your freedom, now it wants to fight you. Now you're the enemy. Now, how friendly is that? But, Patrick, we have to provide for the poor and needy. Where does it say that in the Constitution? Here's a hint, it doesn't, because that's a moral question, not a legal one. Yes, you should take care of those who cannot take care of themselves, but you shouldn't be legally required to do it. You can just about make the claim that you're interjecting religion into government at that point. Something most liberals arguing for Obamacare object to under different circumstances when they're arguing for different issues. Keep your religion out of my government. That's the first thing they yell and scream about when we talk about posting the 10 Commandments in a government building or putting up a Christmas nativity scene on a courthouse lawn. but start making the case that we need to care for the less fortunate among us, then they're all about using morality to argue for that when it comports with their viewpoint. That's what I mean when I say us humans, we're hypocritical to some extent. We all are. We all fall short of respecting other people's rights and of holding ourselves to the same standards we expect others to meet. And that's why we have a constitution, because humans in government will inevitably stray from the straight and narrow. They'll try to do more than the rules allow. They'll infringe on someone else's rights. The Constitution gives us, it gives us a reboot, a reset back to zero. If we would stick to those permissions for government as outlined and agreed to when we made that, and then if we quickly return to them if we stray, our country would be in so much better shape than it is right now. But unfortunately, we don't do that. And as I hit upon in the last segment, freedom and liberty is your birthright. Your ancestors in this country have fought long and hard to win respect for your natural human rights. Now we have a government, again, run by people, mere humans, who are trampling all over them. And that's what we need to get away from. All right, we're up on the last part of the show here. We want to thank you for listening again this week. If you want more information about us, pop over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Patrick Riggins Show. You don't have to be a member of Facebook. Just type in facebook.com/Patrick Riggins Show. Also, youtube.com/Patrick Riggins Show. Get our archives over there. And you can email us, patrickrigginshow@gmail.com. This week, remember, liberty begins with you in your mind. Join me again next Saturday afternoon at 4. We'll be fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.
Just released from indenture, as a dreamer of dreams and a traveler.
Join us again next week for a solid dose of truth on the Patrick Riggins Show. Be